that was interpreted as a shoot-on-sight directive, which many claim incited police brutality against peaceful demonstrators. Murkomen's clarification appears aimed at distancing himself from any allegations of inciting violence or overreach of authority in the handling of the protest. He emphasized adherence to the constitutional law and reaffirmed that the National Police Service operates independently as stipulated under Article 255 of the Constitution of Kenya.
And I'm saying this with all humility. I cannot order an Inspector General of Police on anything because the Constitution denies me to do so. And I did not order the Inspector General or any police officer to carry out any extrajudicial anywhere. Your Excellency, what I did was to state the law. And as a lawyer, I have studied, read this law, and I understand what the law says. And what I told the police officers is, if you will not find me anywhere where I said somebody should be shot to be killed, you will not find me anywhere where I said that a police officer should take orders from myself. No. I restated the law and reminded them what the law says. And for the benefit of those, Your Excellency, who have been speaking out there, I want to read for them the National Police Service Act, Section 61(2), and Schedule, particularly Schedule 6B1. Your Excellency is very clear on the use of firearm. And I want to read it verbatim. It says, Your Excellency, that firearms may only be used when less extreme means are inadequate and for the following purposes. 1, saving or protecting the life of the officer or other persons. 2, in self-defense or in defense of other persons against the imminent threat of life or serious injury. C, protection of life and property through justifiable use of force. D, preventing a person charged with a felony from escaping lawful custody. 5, or E, preventing a person who attempts to rescue or rescue a person charged with felony from escaping lawful custody. Your Excellency, I'm not the one who wrote the law. The law says a police officer, when faced with a situation of a threat of his life, must be able to use the firearm.
Right, at the same time, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has vowed to stand firmly in defense of the police service, asserting his responsibility to protect law enforcement officers as they work to maintain national security. Speaking during a high-level meeting convened at State House Nairobi, attended by President William Ruto and top security and national government administration officers, the CS emphasized that the safety of the nation remains a top priority. Murkomen expressed concern over what he termed as selective condemnation, noting that attacks on police officers or destruction of police infrastructure often go unspoken by religious leaders or foreign diplomats. He reiterated that his constitutional mandate as Interior CS compels him to protect the police, who he said are often placed in difficult situations while upholding the rule of law.
If we have to switch off media resources to save media and to save the citizens, we will do it, because we want to save our country from burning. We want to save them from irresponsible journalism. But we also request the media, if they are going to regulate themselves, nobody is going to bother, because we have been accused, we have been criticized. We are not averse to criticism. The only thing we want to tell them is that in the security sector, these men and women here helping you, Your Excellency, to deal with security, they don't have the luxury, Your Excellency, to debate. At that moment, critical moment for our country, the first thing they want to see is first their country becomes safe. Nobody here, including the IG, would like to go into the book of history that the country burned when they were holding office. Not us, not the IG, not everybody here. At that moment, we can go and debate with media. They can call us for interviews. We can debate with the judiciary when we know that the country is safe. The first call of duty for everybody sitting here is the safety of the country first, before we can debate on other. When a police officer is attacked or a police station is burned, no church leader will speak. No foreign envoy will speak. These so-called opposition leaders will speak. If all these people do not speak, And I am the cabinet secretary in charge of these police officers. And I am a lawyer, and I don't speak for them. Who will? Who will do that? I have, as a cabinet secretary, to lead from the front. Some people don't know the life that police officers go through. Yesterday, when we were with the police officers who were going to the border, do people know how much they put their life in the line for them to fight Al-Shabaab, sleeping in Boni Forest, around the borders of this country, putting their lives to save citizens in the country? And then it has become so fashionable for all of us to close our ears.
Right now, President William Ruto has affirmed his administration's commitment to ensuring the safety and welfare of Kenya's law enforcement officers, emphasizing that a secure nation depends on secure security forces. Speaking at a high-level meeting with security and national government administration officers at State House, Nairobi, President William Ruto stated that it is unacceptable for criminals to chase after police officers who are tasked with maintaining law and order. He vowed to bolster the capacity and protection of the police service to enable them to effectively carry out their duties across the country. The president emphasized that national security is a shared responsibility, and ensuring the safety of those who serve on the front lines is a foundational step towards achieving lasting peace and order.
Let me also tell every police officer who wakes up early, puts their lives on the line to be able to secure our children, our families, and our nation, that as you do that, we will equally, and we are equally obligated to make sure that we secure your families, your children, and yourself. And the government of Kenya, and myself as president, I will make sure that in the discharge of your duties, every security officer is equally secured by the people of Kenya. We cannot have a country where criminals are running after police officers, where police officers are fleeing because their lives are in danger. If the life of a police officer is in danger, then whose life is safe? The moment we allow the life of a police officer who is supposed to secure our children and our families to be in danger, then our children and families and nation is not safe. Let's just put it that way. And therefore, we have a responsibility and an obligation to make sure that those who secure our families, children, and nation are secure themselves. Yes, you cannot secure others if you are not safe. And for our men and women in uniform to be safe, we must give them the equipment for them to be safe so that they can secure our nation, our families, our properties, and our children.
All right, moving on, President William Ruto has called for the development of a legal framework to guide how demonstrations are conducted in Kenya, stressing the need to protect both the rights of those protesting and those who choose not to. Speaking at a high-level meeting with security and national government administration officers at State House, Nairobi, the president said the country must strike a balance between upholding constitutional freedoms and ensuring public order and safety. He emphasized that protest must not infringe on the rights of other citizens, disrupt learning in schools, or paralyze businesses. To this end, the president proposed the designation of specific areas and times for holding demonstrations. He further noted that Parliament would soon begin work to legislationize the approach, ensuring that all constitutional provisions, both for demonstrators and non-demonstrators, are upheld and respected.
We will have a conversation with the judiciary and all the other actors, members of Parliament. I think it is time we have a law that will regulate how we carry out demonstrations in Kenya. We must protect the right of those who want to demonstrate, picket, and protest. But equally, we must also protect the right of those who don't want to participate in the demonstration. They want to go about their business, they want to go to work, they want to do their, they want to carry out their other responsibilities. There must be room for everybody. And as has been suggested, we must have places like what happens globally. You know, protests cannot be in other people's businesses. Protests cannot be in schools or places where people are doing other things. We must have designated areas with time, place, and those organizing. And those organizing protests must be decent enough to provide whatever it is that is at issue so that it can be attended to. So I am sure Parliament is going to provide the legislation for us to make sure that all the provisions of the Constitution are respected, those of protesters and those who, the people who are not protesters. Designated areas so that there is no destruction of people's property, there is no loss of life because it is not necessary. Officers, I want to tell you, it is our responsibility as a nation. It is my responsibility as president to make sure that you are safe, your families are safe, so that you can secure and make our country safe.
Right, now church leaders from the Jerusalem Church of Elohim in Kericho have strongly condemned Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen's recent shoot-on-sight directive aimed at Gen Z protesters, terming the remarks as reckless, illegal and unbiblical. Speaking during the church's annual gathering held at Kiptawit High School, the clergy urged the government to abandon threats and instead to embrace dialogue as the way forward in addressing the grievances raised by the country's youth. The leaders warned that such inflammatory directives not only undermine democratic freedoms but also risk escalating an already tense national situation. They emphasized that peaceful protest is a constitutional right and called on the government to uphold the rule of law. Now, the clergy also condemned the recent killings of protesters during the national demonstrations, demanding accountability and restraint from security officers in future engagements with the public.
Tunataka tukukemea ile mauaji ilitokea, pia wa vijana tunataka tuwasii, hii Kenya ni yetu. Hii ni nchi yenye inastahili tuwe na amani. So kwa hivyo vijana tuende kulingana na vile hata pia sisi tunaendelea kila wakati kufunza wa vijana.
Na sisi sote kama kanisa, sheria amri ya 6 hairuhusu mtu yeyote kuua mtu. Kwa hivyo yale yote inaendelea si ya kuridhisha Mwenyezi.
Serikali yetu tukufu ibate kusikia vijana, batakuwa ya vijana, hata na wasee na hata makanisa tena bia. Hatutaki tena umwagikaji wa damu katika Kenya yetu. Tuko na uhuru na sheria yetu inasema kwamba kuna ruhusa ya mtu kudemonstrate.
Right, leaders from the Democracy for Citizens Party, that is DCP, have called for the immediate arrest of Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, accusing him of inciting the police to shoot protesters during the recent Gen Z-led protest. Addressing the press in Nakuru, the DCP leaders condemned the government's handling of the June 25th demonstrations, claiming that state actors deliberately infiltrated the peaceful protest with goals to provoke violence and discredit the movement. They stated that such actions were a betrayal of the democratic principles enshrined in the Constitution and called for accountability at the highest levels of the government. The leaders also defended former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, distancing him from the protest.
And the Kasongo kuangaisha Rigathi, tukiangalia pale OTC ni mipango iliyokuwa imepangwa we could see policemen in Land Cruisers conversing with goons carrying batons. After that extensive routing, the following day, the CS Interior shamelessly walked alongside police officers, senior police officers, kwenda kuokota vitambulisho ambavyo wanasema ziliachwa na goons. Hata mwizi wa kuku hujaribu kutoa evidence. These were planned routing, planned destruction, and we want to tell them, have better plans if you want to commit crime.
Yes.
Plan well if you want to implicate Rigathi Gachagua. We will not allow and will not accept. We know you've been having schemes.
Their peaceful demonstrations were infiltrated by state-armed and protected hooligans, goons, and gangs. These criminal gangs had been seen practicing on how to execute their deliberate evil scheme during the protest against the slain Albert Ojwang, whose journey to a better Kenya was equally halted by those who had a constitutional duty to grant him safety.
Right, in a significant breakthrough, police officers have recovered stolen items from the Dagoretti police station that went missing during the Wednesday's demonstration on June 25th. Authorities retrieved an AK-47 rifle, an anti-riot gun commonly used for crowd control, 1 live bullet, and an empty magazine. 7 suspects believed to be involved in the theft have been arrested in connection with the case. The police have pledged to intensify their crackdown efforts to recover all stolen police equipments from various stations affected during the protest.
You know very well, one of our police posts was invaded, firearms are stolen, we had massive looting, we also had mass destruction of government installations within Kikuyu. And from that day, we've not gone to rest because we aim to get to the bottom of this matter. And as a result of that handwork, we've been able to recover several items that are already here with us, starting with the AK-47. This one was stolen from Dagoretti police post, that is on 25th. And it is very unfortunate if we can have this kind of a lethal firearm in the hands of the wrong person. And we were able to get it from one of the members of the public through an information that was brought to us, and through the efforts of my officers in Kikuyu, we were able to recover the AK-47 that was stolen from Dagoretti police posts. We also got a magazine. This is the AK-47 magazine. Unfortunately, it is empty, but I know with the efforts we are putting in place, we also be able to get the ammunitions because it was loaded when it was stolen. We only recovered 1 live ammunition. You can imagine, this only 1 ammunition means a life was to be lost if it was left in the hands of those criminals. We were able to recover the anti-riot gun. This one was also stolen, and unfortunately they could not be able to operate. I think they were struggling to operate and it was broken. This is what we've recovered. We also had a pair of handcuffs, a Django shirt, assorted knives, and a mobile phone. All this was recovered from 4 suspects who are already in custody with us, and they are helping us with investigations. And we also had this TV set. This was recovered from a police patrol base that is called Macharia police patrol base. This one was recovered, and the suspect that was having this TV set is already in hospital. We have 3 suspects in hospital, but still under our custody.
Right, President William Ruto has called on Kenyans to refrain from actions that could harm the country following the chaos that unfolded during the June 25th protest. Speaking during the groundbreaking ceremony of the Nairobi Railway's affordable housing project, the president emphasized the importance of national unity and peace amid growing political tensions. Addressing the crowd, Ruto cautioned against the destructive path of protest, turning violent, urging citizens not to burn their own country over political disagreements. He reiterated that Kenya's future lies in dialogue, progress, and national building rather than in tribal politics or confrontation.
ile tumesema, na mimi nataka niwahakikishie, hatutaki fujo katika mji wa Nairobi ama taifa letu la Kenya. Juzi kulikuwa na maandamano. Si kuna watu walipoteza maisha. Si kuna biashara iliharibika. Si kuna maduka ilichomwa. Si kuna hasara ilipatikana. Mimi nataka niwaulize, mnataka tuchome nchi ama tujenge nchi bwana? Kuna watu wanataka kutushughulisha na kuchoma nchi yetu. Mimi nataka niwaeleze, kuchoma nchi haiwezi kusaidia mtu yeyote. Sijui kama tunaelewana my friends. Mnasema tujenge taifa letu la Kenya. Wale wanasema tujenge taifa letu la Kenya, nione kwa mkono wale wanasema tujenge. Na mimi nataka niwahakikishie, sawa sawa, tunaelewana? Mimi nataka niwaeleze ya kwamba hatuhitaji ukabila katika taifa letu la Kenya. Mimi nimesema kwa mapenzi ya Mungu, mimi nikiwa kiongozi wa taifa hii, tutazima ukabila. Sisi ni ndugu moja my friends. Sisi ni watu wa nchi moja. Mungu ametuweka pamoja. Na mimi nitahakikisha ya kwamba kila jamii, kila sehemu ya Kenya, kila dini ya Kenya, tunaungana ndio tuweze kupeleka taifa letu la Kenya mbele. Mungu anajua ni kwa sababu gani sisi wote tuko taifa moja. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Kuna mtu aliomba ruhusa kufika Kenya? Kuna mtu aliomba ruhusa asaliwe kwa jamii fulani? Sisi ni ndugu moja jameni. Mnasema tuungane ama tutengane? Tuungane. Waswahili wanasema umoja ni nguvu, kutengana ni udhaifu. Mnasema tuungane? Hebu nione wala anasema tuungane jameni. Tuungane bwana, twende mbele pamoja. Wale ambao wananiambia maneno, mimi nimewauliza, si ndio? Watueleze. Mimi nimepanga tujenge nyumba 1150 kila mwaka. Wao wamepanga nyumba ngapi? Yao ni kuongelelea Ruto. Wakiulizwa wapi ajira ya vijana, Ruto. Wapi mambo ya elimu, Ruto.
Right, moving on, during the state, or rather students from Miritini World Bank Primary School in Jomvu constituency have a reason to smile after receiving new scouting uniforms courtesy of the World Scout Parliamentary Union. The donation was made earlier today as part of the union's ongoing initiative dubbed One Scout, One Uniform. Speaking during the handover ceremony, the union's director, Poppins Musoi, said the goal of the project is to inspire more students to join the scouting movement and instill a sense of patriotism and discipline among young leaders. Now, Jomvu Member of Parliament Badi Twalib, who is the long-serving member of the World Scout Parliamentary Union with over 14 years of service, and commended the initiative and the union's continued effort to support the youth development. He urged students to embrace unity and discipline in their lives, emphasizing that the values instilled in them is crucial to achieving their goals.
World Scout Parliamentary Union is an independent association of parliamentarians, and currently we have 80 members of parliament, and the Speaker of the National Assembly is our patron. And there's a program we run called One Scout, One Uniform campaign, and that's why we are here in Jomvu constituency with Mheshimiwa Badi Twalib, who is a member of World Scout Parliamentary Union since 2014. This is his third term, and he's been a member of WUSPU. So we came to this school to donate scout uniforms. It's one of those programs that we do to encourage young people to join scouting, but also encourage them to embrace national values. So when we give them the uniform, it also encourages them to take care of the environment, become disciplined, become responsible citizens, love their country, love their people, and behave well in leadership and everything that they do. So that's basically why we're here with my team from the World Scout Parliamentary Union.
Shukuru leo kuja Jomvu kwa sababu hii hafla, hizi vitu zote ambazo wamenifanyia, tungelikuwa tutafute pesa mahali ya kusaidia watoto wetu. Lakini unaona msaada huu umetoka kutokamana na union hii. Na tunashukuru. Tunasema kuwa si hiyo peke yake, kuna mambo mengi ambayo tunazungumza na wao. Wameniahidi hapa kuwa hata wakiwa Nairobi, Miritini Secondary School, pia nao watawapatia nguo za scouts ambazo watakuwa nazo. Kwa hivyo mimi yangu ni shukrani.
Right, it is exactly 31 minutes past the top of the hour. That's going to wrap up our bulletin here on EBN Weekend Edition. And many thanks for, of course, keeping us company here on the broadcast. Many thanks, of course, for being part of the broadcast. My name is Macharia, signing off. Do have yourself a good night. And remember to go to church tomorrow. And as always, let's do this again when God says we do.